Let's talk about the general properties of elements. So what we're going to do is talk about general properties of metals and non-metals. Now for metals, they are generally solid at room temperature, all right? They usually have high melting points or boiling points. They're dense, right? So when you put them in like water or most other medium, it will sink. They make very good electrical conductors because of the delocalized electrons, and also because of the delocalized electrons, they're very good heat conductors. And because the electrons are delocalized, that means they are not fixed in its position around the nucleus, and the electrons can move around, it makes them malleable, right? Because the electrons are not committed, you can actually bend it, okay, bend it. Metallic elements are also ductile, that means you can stretch them into a wire, all right? You can stretch them out because, again, the electrons are not localized, all right? Metallic elements generally have are generally gray in color on the outside, so if you polish it off or remove it or cut it in half, you should see a shiny surface. And metallic elements, when you hit on it, there's usually a sound, a sonorous sound, like a ringing sound, wang, 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 stuff like that, all right? What about non-metallic elements? Well, non-metallic elements are usually solids or gases, all right? They generally have low melting points or boiling points, so they're easily you can vaporize them if they're solids. Okay. Non-metallic elements are generally less dense, so because they're gases, so they are like everywhere, and they do not conduct electricity or heat because they don't have delocalized electrons, especially when it forms molecules. Okay. However, metallic elements are generally good insulators because they do not conduct electricity, they do not conduct heat, they can maintain heat, all right? So that's why we have plastic handles for our stoves and stuff, for our pans, all right? So that when we cook an egg, for example, the pan gets hot, but the handle of the pan does not get hot, and you can still pick up that pan and flip your egg. All right. Metals tend to be very brittle if they are solids. All right. So like graphite, you can like. Okay. Also, non-metallic elements tend to have different types of colors if you can see those colors. All right. And if they are solids, those colors tend to be quite dull. And also when you knock on a non-metallic element, there's no ringing sound, all right? So there you go. General properties of elements in the periodic table.